Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Catfish Chalk Talk. We've been doing these for over a year, and I was looking through social media and I realized that I've never really told anybody about myself as far as my upbringing in fishing and kind of what led me to where I want to be. And I have a very different path than most people in the industry, especially the catfish industry. I was not brought up fishing. I didn't fish with my dad or my grandpa or my uncles or brothers or anybody like that. Nobody's fault. We worked on a farm. We were outside all the time, had other things to do, and just were not a fishing family. I picked it up later on in life after high school, kind of by accident. But then again, most opportunities in life kind of fall by accident. So what I'm saying here is I did not go to the third grade saying, I'm going to be a professional fisherman. That was never even on the radar. So that basically led me up to my fishing career. After college, I had a job in the television industry and was introduced by my boss, Rob Horkin, to the Red River catfish. We were driving out walleye fishing for everything we could get. But the whole Red River right in town, I mean, it's the greatest channel cat fishery in the world. And it's right here in town. Why weren't we fishing it? So my boss took us out there, introduced us to catfishing, and as he likes to say it, he created a monster. So that's what I was doing every night after work, was going down to the river and chasing catfish. And it just never really clicked to do it as a profession even then. But then the opportunity arose through another guide, Kent Hollins, here in town, to do some scouting for him. And I started to realize, you know what, maybe I'm kind of good at this stuff. And the guide service was born in 2008. And in 2012, my job at the television station kind of started to go south. And by 2014, thank God, it was time to make the jump to full-time fishing. So for the last 5 years, my job is catfish every day in the summer, and then I go through and do my research and my writing and everything in the winter. So what did I take with that path that led me down this road that's different than everybody else? Well, I came from a non-fishing family, meaning I had to learn all of this by myself. I read the books, I watched the videos, I watched everything I could watch. And then when you get into the catfish world, we're up here kind of in no man's land, right in the middle of walleye world. Well, there's a few local folks that you can talk to, but everybody kind of did things the same thing. So I was forced to figure a lot of things out on my own. And what kind of came from that is I didn't have any bad habits. I see that a lot in folks that started with their grandpa or their dad. Not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying they picked up on a lot of bad habits and got put into kind of a closed-minded situation, because that's how we always did it. And I never had that, which is kind of what led to all the research I did and ultimately my book. Is I was asking questions but legitimately wanted to know the answers. And I had an open enough mind to make the adjustments and learn a lot of this stuff, which in the grand scheme of things has turned me into a very fluid catfish angler, meaning once I pick up on something, I can switch gears in a hurry, because it's not always how we've done things. And there's been a lot of failures and a lot of successes along the way, but also a lot of record keeping. So that kind of leads me up to where we are now. Going back to getting my guide service started, another thing that probably along the way has made me very unique is I've got a marketing degree from the University of North Dakota, and when I graduated college I went into the television industry and learned a lot about utilizing local media, how it works, and that's been some pretty darn good lessons, having that marketing background and then learning how to work with media and be professional. And I'm old enough now that I can look back at it and say, when I started in my media career, social media wasn't even invented yet. So I've had to kind of grow into social media, but that's not all a bad thing from a marketing standpoint, because social media is segmenting the market, and my background still is with traditional forms of media, books, magazines, television, radio, things like that. And I know the understanding of a solid marketing mix, which in the grand scheme of starting a guide service and working with the media and bringing everything together, having that strong media mix and that marketing background has been an absolute key to success. So I don't want to take too much of your time, but that's an introduction to how we got to where we are as far as learning how to fish, putting a guide service together, marketing the guide service, to a point dealing with sponsors, and kind of why my brain works the way it works on some of the research and some of the patterning techniques that I've been working on over the years. And like I said in last week's Chalk Talk, you can't teach experience. I said I got started later in life, but that was 20 years ago already. And a lot happens when you fish over 100 days a year for 20 years in a row and keep good records. You learn a lot, you forget a lot, you have to relearn a lot, but there's a lot that comes from it. So I just thought I would introduce myself a little bit and tell you kind of where I came from. Till next time, I'm Brad Durick.